Daniela with Bestie Life, and today I get to talk to Hillary Bennett of the Motivated Mompreneur. She is a mindset and accountability coach with a podcast and a blog, and just an amazing insight into herself, her strengths, what she's working on, and how to find that peace and balance for herself. She's got some great actionable tips, so thanks so much for joining us. I believe we're recording. Hi, this is Daniela with Bestie Life, and I'm here today with Hillary Bennett. Hillary, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much, Daniela. It's just such a pleasure to be here.
So if you could tell us all a little bit about yourself personally and professionally. You have a great business and mompreneur, and I would love to hear more about it.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you. So hi, I am Hillary Bennett, and I am a mother of two. I have a 3-year-old son and a 5-year-old daughter, and we live in the Pacific Northwest. I've lived lots of places, East Coast, West Coast, and a few in between, and I have just fallen in love with the Pacific Northwest. So we get to have a lot of fun here in the beautiful green outdoors. And my husband is a teacher, and between work and 2 little ones, we keep pretty busy and have minimal hobbies. But my job is I am a mindset and accountability coach for mompreneurs, and I help these amazing moms build and grow sustainable, heart-centered businesses without sacrificing their families. And I've been coaching for years. I coached as a part of my corporate role in leadership development and have just gone out on my own over the past couple of years. And I'm just loving it, really feeling like I am able to live into my purpose of empowering women to share their gifts with the world. And it's really a blessing and a privilege to be able to do the work that I do.
And you do provide such amazing work. I'll have all the links to Hillary's sites in the show notes and everything. You've got a Facebook group, you have a podcast yourself, and you definitely offer so much to women and mompreneurs as far as helping them to find that peace and that calm that you get to experience yourself as well. You definitely have a gift for bringing that calm. And I, as I've gotten to know you, I definitely enjoy that, just speaking with you kind of helps everything feel like, okay, I'm in a good place. I can handle it. I can manage it. So you do an awesome job with that.
Oh, thank you so much.
So as part of balancing 2 kids and your home and your job and everything like that, what do you do for yourself to kind of find some peace and happiness? How do you carve out time for you?
So I have something that I call mini routines. Several years ago, and I can't remember if it was after my first or my second kiddo, I was really feeling a little bit lost, and I came across this book, The Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod. And anyone who's been into the morning routine game for any amount of time, that's kind of where it all started. I'm sure that they've heard of the book. And I read it, and there were like these 8 to 10 things that every successful person should do if they want to achieve their goals every morning. Getting up early, you won't miss the sleep, I tried it for a week.
I was gonna say.
Let me tell you what, I think it was after my second, I think I had 2 little ones. I did miss the sleep, and I went crazy. And by taking on so much and trying to pack it into my morning, when my kids wake up at 6:30 at the latest at that time. Now, luckily we've gotten them to 7, but in order to wake up before them to get all of this done, please, that it was not happening. So eventually I realized I don't need to do what someone else is telling me I should do. I need to do what's right for me. Now, waking up in the morning ahead of my kids is important for me. I found that when I woke up with them, even though I love when they come in and give me snuggles first thing in the morning, by the time the kids were fed and dressed, by the time I was fed and dressed, it was almost lunchtime, and, we were really starting the day kind of on our heels.
Right.
But instead of doing this 8 to 10 thing routine in the morning, I said, how do I want to feel in the morning? And then what is one activity that will help me get there? So I took this huge morning routine and I brought it way, way, way down and kind of created my own personalized routine that I do before my kids wake up. And that has been an incredible source of self-care for me and a way that I am able to care for myself. And I don't do it on Saturdays and Sundays. I have the goal of doing that one day, but I just can't give up the snuggles while my
I
kids
was
are
going to
willing to
say,
give them to
those
me.
are the best.
So one day when my children are sleeping in until noon, then I will do my routines on the weekends. But until they stop giving me those snuggles, I'm going to take them.
I love that, though, how you were able to bring it down to one thing. That's such a great, actionable, simple thing that I think most women who get overwhelmed by the thought of coming up with a whole morning routine can think of maybe one thing that they can do,
And the best part about that is I've since added on a couple more things. Now, I don't do a lot. So I do some yoga, I do meditation, and I do a daily devotional, and that's it. But when I first started, I just did a 10-minute meditation, and that was all. Yeah. Once that became habit, you're able to layer on, and it doesn't feel like this huge leap between where you are and where you want to go.
Mm-hmm. I think keeping it simple and small definitely helps it to feel achievable. And like you said, sometimes once you get started, it is easier to build, but that first step can feel like the biggest. So that's a great, I think, hopefully motivator for anyone listening to know that you can just start with 10 minutes. One little thing, can make that difference.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So what motivates you? What led you to go from corporate towards giving back to mompreneurs, or in general?
I have natural gifts of empathy and listening, and I'm also kind of a type A personality, so I really like to get things done. I thrive in a day in which I check a lot of things off my to-do list, which I will tell you, I am a recovering to-do list diva. But when I realized that what corporate or what a normal 9-to-5 working for someone else offered me was not what I was willing to settle for as a mom and as a professional, because I will tell you, I am built to be a working mom. I am not built to be a stay-at-home mom. And that's just how it is.
And that's okay. I think sometimes we feel guilty for that too. And that's not the case.
Yes. And so when it started to feel like it wasn't the right fit, I was like, gosh, these are my only two options. I can be a stay-at-home mom. I don't want to be a stay-at-home mom, or I can have this job, but I really don't love this job. And it was a series over the course of 2 to 3 years of taking the signs and the little love notes from my higher power and following the breadcrumbs. It wasn't this moment in which, oh my gosh, I understand exactly what my purpose is, and I know exactly how I'm going to follow through on that. I took the natural gifts that I had of empathy and listening, and, the strengths that I had in terms of how my type A personality can serve me. And I leaned into those things. I did a lot of learning and personal development, and I followed those breadcrumbs, and it led me to where I am today, in which I get to spend my days empowering others and serving as an accountability cheerleader for them. And I know that the journey is just beginning. I will be working for many, many years, and I'm sure it will take me down many twists and turns. But I can say that I've found a place that regardless of whatever work I'm doing, I know that I'll be able to live into my purpose. So the work might change, but the purpose doesn't have to. And that's been so empowering, and really just loving, being able to give back to others.
Yeah, and it sounds like it fills you up as well. As much as you give to others, you get in return too, which is a great motivator as well.
Yep, absolutely. And I think that, that's kind of a sign that you're going in the right direction, is even on my most tired days, and there have been some, let's be honest, in 2020, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like those days that you're just dreading doing whatever it is, even if you actually want to do it. As soon as I get on that call with a client, as soon as I get on to record a podcast or be a guest on a podcast, it all kind of drops away, and I'm connecting with incredible moms, and it is just so life-giving. And that to me is like, ding, 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 you're in the right spot, because everything can just go to the background, and I can be in the present moment and feel so alive.
Yeah. And that's great that you recognize that about yourself too, to know that it's not about how you feel at that moment, but to know that it's about your bigger purpose and passion. So in the midst of all these things, so that you are managing well, what still stresses you out? Like what still kind of can get to you?
Oh my gosh. I mean, so many things. Let's just be real. My business still stresses me out. I think that I've gotten to a point where I've been able to let go of outcomes and the expectation of outcomes. And I've been able to let go of the stress and desperation that comes with wanting your business to thrive. And that has been incredible, but I still really want it to succeed. So if I am letting the mean girl in my head run the show, that can create some stress and anxiety for me. And then of course I have a 3 and a 5-year-old. And so they are adorable. And I say God made them cute for a reason, because if not, I would have sent them back a long time ago. As much joy as they bring a lot of stress too.
Yeah.
And I think, lastly, health, especially this year, has been stressful. At the slightest sniffle, you're like, oh my gosh, do I have COVID? Like, do we need to get tested? And it's kind of always at the top of our minds. But I don't think that the expectation should ever be that life should be without stress. I think that, it's the way that we're able to cultivate healthy coping mechanisms and work through that stress that's really the key. Because, feeling like stress is such a bad thing can be just one more thing that we end up beating ourselves up on. And moms have enough of that.
Right. No, I always say as well, when I talk about balance with my work, balance isn't about things being perfect or the absence of problems or stress. It's about that resiliency, that ability to pivot and roll with it, that's where we find that peace. And I like how you bring up too, unfortunately, that mean girl in our head. I think we all can be our own harshest critics and can stress ourselves out more and be the harder judge than we need and cause more stress for ourselves. And so to have that awareness of, you might be hearing this, but this is what I'm going to go with, and being able to separate from that.
Absolutely.
It's a great gift as well. What would you do? I know you're already kind of living your dream a little bit, but what would you do if you knew you couldn't fail? Like if you had to put it out there in the universe, like your one big thing.
I mean, I do think that I'm sort of living that, and not necessarily because I'm living my dream, but because I've had to put myself out there so much, really trusting in what's next without knowing what the heck that is, which I think is sort of the idea behind this question. But I think that I probably would be more upfront when I know that someone could benefit from working with me. So I never want to come across pushy or salesy. And I do think that sometimes people are waiting for the invitation and waiting for the permission to do something. And I shy away from that a little bit. So if I knew I couldn't fail, if I saw someone who I thought, and not in an egotistical or arrogant way, but thought, gosh, I know I really have the skills to help you achieve what you're set out to achieve, I would be more forthcoming with that. And I know I would do it with my own style, with a lot of love and humility, but I know that does hold me back sometimes.
Okay. That's great insight. Thanks for sharing that. So what do people think you kind of have together, but maybe you don't feel like you do? Like I know for me, people think my house is clean, and I swear to God, it's not. But I always make a good first impression. Like the first time I know you're coming over, you will get my cleanest house, and then after that, it's kind of
just like degrades slowly over time. Yeah. Gosh, I feel like every single thing, but no, I do try to be pretty authentic. I mean, even with people that don't even know me, I try not to put too much of a shiny finish on who I am, because I want to be real. I focus a lot on creating healthy food for my family. I am very meticulous when it comes to meal planning. We cook most of our things from scratch. And yet, so from the outside looking in, like people who don't do that, they're like, oh my gosh, you have that all together. But really, it's still like we're just doing the very best we can do. I've put more intention behind it, but we are far from perfect. And so, I think that would be one thing where, and I specifically am more intentional about it. So I'm sure it does run more smoothly than people who just fly by the seat of their pants. However, it is far from perfect.
But I love that idea of intention, at least kind of giving you the grace to, do it to your best, and knowing that I think in general, we shouldn't be striving for perfection, but the intent alone makes a huge difference.
Well, and we have so much, life has so much to offer, and we can't give 100% to every single little thing. So you pick the things that are most important to you. And this is why I always have my clients go through a core values exercise. Pick what's most important to you and put your focus there, because that's where you're going to get the biggest bang for your buck in terms of fulfillment and any of the other things that you're looking for. And so for me, that's something that's really important to me. It may not be important to the woman sitting next to me. And so she's super intentional about something else. Right. And that's why I use that word intentional, because I know that by focusing here, I am deciding to let something else go.
Right. And that's okay. We don't have to do it all. We have to give ourselves permission, I think, for that all the time. What would you say are the 3 things you're the most grateful for? Your 3 G's.
So I think I'm most grateful for my faith. My faith in a higher power has gotten me through so much and has given me so many gifts. Even in my darkest times, I knew that I could keep going because I had this strength and love from something so much greater than me. So I think that is far and away like my biggest. The next would be the people in my life. So my immediate family and the small community of friends that I have. As much as I kind of balance the line of introvert and extrovert, I do need a very small handful of very intimate relationships in order to truly thrive. And I am so blessed to actually have those. So that would be my second, is the people. And the third, this is kind of a silly one, but just knowing those little things that can pick me, like those little things that can give me a little bit of joy, the little things that can be the pick me up. So this is kind of a catch-all. I'm sort of cheating. So I'm sorry, Daniela. But
no, not at all.
It's like being able to read a book just for fun, having music that when you turn it on makes you feel however you need to feel. Being able to have a little bit, like peppermint essential oil is something I'm so grateful for. It can just really bring me back to life. A bed that's so comfortable to sleep in. I wouldn't say that any of those one things is the most grateful, but I do have this beautiful toolkit of things that I know that I can care for myself. And I know what they are because I've listened to myself and I've honed that toolkit. Right. And so I'm really grateful for that.
No, I love that one. I think sometimes we don't appreciate having self-awareness and our insight into ourselves as a gift, as something to be grateful for. I think we take it for granted, which is why so many women, I think, sometimes take in general self-care for granted and take that self-reflection for granted because they don't realize how enriching it can be in so many other areas of your life. So no, I'm so glad you shared that. So kind of last thing, if I could magically give you more time, because I know as moms, working moms, that seems to be the one precious commodity we could never, ever get enough of. What would you do if you had more time?
Gosh, that's such a good question. If I had more time, I would probably sleep a little bit more. I am someone who needs a solid 8 hours of sleep, and I don't quite get that. So I'd probably sleep a little bit more. And then once my kids are a little bit bigger, where sleep isn't such a hot commodity, I'm sure that would shift to something else. But yep, today, sleep.
No, I think sleep, again, also gets undervalued and underappreciated. So no, I think that's fantastic to know the benefits of it. It can save your life for sure.
Oh, coming off the years of being a mom bee, and that's like the mom zombies when you have the babies and you're only sleeping for 2 hours at a time for 3 years. And you're like, yes, sleep is just the best gift in the whole world once they're, sleeping through the night and you're getting a little bit of that rest.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Hillary, for joining us today. I always love getting to connect and chat with you. I'm going to, like I said, have all your links in the show notes below, and so that hopefully people will reach out and get to connect with you and see just all the great gifts that you can share when it comes to mindset and insight and helping to empower women, because you are definitely so talented at that.
Oh, thank you so much for having me on. And yeah, I look forward to being able to connect with your listeners. Whenever I get a new follower on Instagram or a new friend on Facebook, I always reach out in a private message or direct message just to say, hey, so because for me, I like to put the social in social media, as I like to say. And so I can't wait for them to connect and we can get to know each other.
Absolutely. That's how actually we connected as well, too.
Exactly.
So yes, you definitely do. So thank you. As well as everyone, if you have any questions for Hillary, feel free to leave them in the comments below. I can share them with her. Let us know any great tips that you feel like you're going to be able to take from this and walk away with, as well as leave a 5-star review so that we can help get Hillary's message out to as many women as possible. So thanks so much. Bye-bye.